I would figure out what I want to do, what I want to deliver before I even start. You try to succeed at everything, you'll succeed at nothing. Learn from your failures, but don't let your failures define you. Always keep track of why you started it.
Hey, Sean Chandler here with Cody Leach, and we are talking about YouTube, his story, his thoughts on growth, and today, in the third part of this four-part series, we are discussing what would Cody do if he started over today? In light of all of his experiences, in light of all that he's learned about YouTube, in light of his understanding of how YouTube works today, what would he do if he was starting over in 2022? And I'll just send that right over to you. And what would you do if you were starting over today?
Panic.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
I would figure out what I want to do, what I want to deliver before I even start. And that was the initial growing pain that I took the first 7 or 8 months of YouTube to figure out is what do I want to do? I just tried doing what everybody else did. I tried doing the movie talk thing. I tried doing reviews of every movie that came out. I tried doing top fives. I did video game video, and I was just like throwing darts everywhere to see if anything stuck. And so it took that initial growing pain experience to figure out that if you try to succeed at everything, you'll succeed at nothing. And also there's the value in having a niche and the value of not doing what everybody else does. Because as much as you might think that you're awesome at it, there's already built-in fan bases, there's already expectations. And even if you're good at it, you're just comparing, you're automatically getting compared to the other person, no matter how good you are. And so that's the first thing that I would do is figuring out exactly what I wanted to do. What kind of content do I want to deliver? What do I want the channel to feel like, to look like? And then figure all that out, get the template, get everything working, thumbnail, editing style, before video one. So that there's no backlog of the awkward years. There's no, my number one video is a video I'm not proud of thing that I unfortunately am still dealing with. So there's a lot of value, I think, in that pre-planning stage where I think most people just turn a camera on, throw it out there just to get something out, which I would suggest do that if you're somebody that's struggling with, should I start, should I not? Just do something.
Just do it. Just do it.
Exactly. But there's also some negatives to that.
If you can, if you have if you have zero at-bats creating content, if you have zero at-bats editing, if you've never done creative endeavors before, you probably just need to hit record. But if you're not in that situation, spending some time actually what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Like that, am I just copying people? Stop and think about it.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe get some friends that actually watch YouTube or watch the same stuff that you do to give you genuine critique on it. And, somebody that's not just a yes man, like, you're awesome, go, roll. So that there's a lot of value in that. And I also would learn right off the bat how the algorithm works and how the analytics work, because I'm approaching 6 years of doing this and I'm still not fully cognizant of how everything works together. I'm learning. I'm certainly learning the hard way in some senses, but I could have really used that knowledge year one, year two especially, finding out how to work all that to my advantage when I'm almost 6 years in, approaching 100K. I'm late to the game. And so that's something that I would definitely either reach out to people, or there's plenty at this point YouTube channels that are just dedicated to educating people. I mean, you've done quite a few of them. So I would really tap into all that, do research before I started it.
And it's one of those ones of YouTube is owned by Google. They're just as creepy as you imagine. They track everything and then they share it with you. And so the data doesn't lie. So every video you post, it tracks the viewing patterns of everyone. And it tells you a bunch of demographics about everyone. It tells you where they came from. It tells you everything. In which case, it's work. It's the actual work side. It's not just the fun hobby side. And assuming if you're watching a video like this, you want to grow. You don't want it to just be a hobby. You want it to be something more. Or even if you want it to be a hobby, you want it to be a successful hobby. If you want the results of something serious, you have to put in the serious work. And YouTube gives you all the information where you can. It's overwhelming. It's a lot. It's tricky. I totally understand.
That's the work side of it.
But it's the work side. And when you crack the code on some of that, there's so many things you can do with that information they give you.
Yeah. I mean, even just as simple as the audience retention, they literally have a graph.
A graph
that shows you every second of the video what percentage of people are still watching. And like I always notice when I have a sponsored spot, there's a little spike. People tuned out for a minute.
Dip.
Yeah.
They rewatched the
correct. Yeah.
sponsor. That sponsorship was on.
The stalactite, stalagmite. I can never get those straight. But,
so we talked about before in your talking about your long intros that you do, the comedy skits. I wonder if that'd be something of like information like could learn. How much those help and how much those hurt.
Exactly.
And like the feedback might be these are amazing, but that also doesn't lie. And it's when you look at it, it's a Band-Aid right off like whoo, that stings. It doesn't feel good because you see the view numbers, you're excited, and then you realize, a view they clicked and they left, or there's a lot of things that can be discouraging in there, but it's all useful.
Yeah, and it takes some adjustment to look introspectively and actually take the criticism that is very blunt in front of your eyes. Like even before I figured out how to use audience retention, I would get comments like review starts at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And I'm like, jerk, watch the whole video, remove. But I'm like, that's somebody giving me information saying I'm not interested in the first quarter of your video. And so it takes learning those things the hard way sometimes. And so that's another thing that would be easy for me to, if I could take my brain back to 2016 and be like, okay, that stuff's funny, incorporate it throughout the video, not a whole chapter before it.
Right, yeah, figure out the perfect length. Like people really appreciate creativity, but they don't necessarily want a full skit. Like what's that, whatever it is, I don't know what the data says, but finding the perfect amount, and the data doesn't lie.
Yeah, absolutely. And also going with community building is something that I would start off right away too. Find Facebook groups that allow you to post your own content or allow others to post their content, and finding people like you and I found each other, but doing much more of my own kind of pounding the pavement. A lot of the people that I've become friends with, I'm fortunate and lucky enough that they found me. You commented on my video, CP and Brian, I think they found me at some point through mutual friends and everything. So I would have done a lot more of actual searching myself because...
the hustle, the grind.
Yes, exactly. Even if it's just getting your name out there and starting a lot of that community building and collaborations and everything early on that I probably missed out on a lot whenever I was kind of starting off on. And kind of going along with that too is helping each other and educating each other. Like there's a lot of things that you found out that I've only learned because you found out, and vice versa. And it helps when you're all having a pool of knowledge versus one person that has to go out and figure out everything for themselves.
Right. And I think I had enough failures over the years. I've said this on my channel, but I put up my first movie webpage back in the late 90s. 6 years old. I had my first movie website. And then I had blogs, I had false starts of just a whole bunch of stuff where I knew what didn't work and I knew what didn't stick. And I always did all those alone. I didn't do a lot of the hustle and the grind, and I didn't learn how stuff worked.
Yeah, and even technology back then didn't give you the feedback.
Yeah, it didn't give you. Yeah, it didn't nearly as many options. So I started on YouTube, and I got just a little lucky that I just happened to have a video in my first couple weeks that took off just enough that I went, oh, YouTube's a lot easier than blogging.
Oh yeah,
just enough of that thought in my mind that I went, okay, what's every failure I've had? Let me learn from that, and it was the things you said. Like I'm going to learn YouTube sooner. So I bought a YouTube course within my first 2 months of just how does YouTube work? What's this algorithm thing I keep hearing about? And then, tried to do this hustle stuff that guy we know like Brian O'Toole, he commented on mine. I just took it. I was like, let me do that with other people. And like, wait, I thought this thought like, if I went and I found like 50 people and watched one of their videos every week and got them to watch one of my videos every week, well, right now 5 people are watching my videos, and 2 of them are my mom and I. If these guys do it, that's up to 50. That's 10 times as many people. Well, that's a big win. So I just need to find those 50 people to like get this, get momentum going for all of us. Just build this community. That was my thought. And literally, we're sitting right here in your shooting space because of that. That's crazy. We're leading a panel at a Comic-Con in 2 days because Brian O'Toole commented on my deal. I went, that's a pretty good, I should do
It's
that.
all because of you, Ryan.
And then you post a Bloodfather review, and I'm like, hey, I like Mel Gibson too.
We're one of 4 people on Earth that are talking about this movie right now.
Yeah, and people aren't talking about it. By the way, I've got a YouTube channel. I'll watch one of your videos every week. Will you watch one of mine? Mm-hmm. And here we are. That's wild.
It is.
So, also, that's the other perk of building community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, you're supposed to be talking. What am I doing? If you're starting over today, what else would you do?
The other thing is also to... we've talked about finding a niche, but it's also just making sure that when you decide what type of content you're going to do, you have a very direct approach to that. You're not doing a bunch of different things. Yeah. Like, even to this day, I still have a title underneath my name that says Movies, Music, Games. And I very rarely talk about music, and I now have created an entirely separate channel for games. And it's because I found out over 5+ years that it doesn't work to necessarily do a bunch of things on one channel. Unless you've already got a built-in million subscriber channel, you got people that subscribe to your movie stuff that have zero interest in video games sometimes, or zero interest in music. Not everybody that watches MCU likes heavy metal or whatever you're talking about. And so that was
that's what we want. We want it to be, you like me, so here's all the things I like, so you should like these things. It doesn't really work like that. They subscribe for whatever video you posted that they liked. Yeah. And so if you put one out that's about Godsmack and the next one is about Freddy, you're building 2 different audiences, and there's not as much overlap. With the way YouTube's designed, it doesn't work. Yeah. It's not designed. You confuse the algorithm when you do things like that. It promotes videos to the wrong people.
Yeah, and then you get people that subscribe for that Godsmack video that now have to wait 7 months before you talk about that music again. It's like you walk into Home Depot and suddenly it's kitchen supplies. You're like, I come here for construction stuff. What's going on? So that was another hard lesson I had to learn. And then along with that, as far as choosing before you start recording who you want to be on YouTube, I made a lot of early mistakes with thinking that if I'm just the rant guy, I'll get attention because I know I can be entertaining when I get worked up. And it certainly worked. My first video that really hit was a review on Rob Zombie's 31 that I hated. And I made it abundantly clear in that video that I hated it in a lot of colorful ways. And so suddenly I was building this audience that just wanted to tune in if I was going to rip something apart. And there is fun to be had sometimes with a movie that you can rip apart. And there's always a little bit of a complication there, professionalism. It's like people put their heart and soul into this, and I'm literally destroying it. But if your honest feelings are that you hate it, you can at least have fun with it. But over the years, I've tried to actively stop doing that because I don't want to be one of those guys that just succeeds off of negativity. Right. There's people out, there's a whole entire circle of YouTube that just succeeds off of thumbnail garbage, thumbnail woke, and I don't want to be in that crowd.
And you realize there's just an audience for outrage, and then you have these people that they just view everything looking for something to be outraged over. Yes. And you can see it. And it's fun when they rant about something you want them to rant about. It's fun when you're on the same page, but at the same time, if you just want to watch people get angry, that's probably not good. Like there's a lot of discussion of toxic fandoms, and some of that's false. Some of that's the other side of the same coin. But some of that there are obvious circles that are groups that are. It's just preying off whatever that is that we have that drew people to the Jerry Springer show back in the day. And in the same way, they like to watch people get angry and talk about
World Star and
like all that. Yeah. It's low, appealing to the lowest common denominator.
Correct.
Anyway, yeah.
And that was never the audience or the circle of YouTube that I was going for. And so I had to actively battle that for a long time. I still get comments to this day when I do a review series. Can't wait till you get to part 7 because I can't wait to hear you rip it apart. And even though I'm entertaining, and I know I'm entertaining when I get into that mode, I enjoy talking about things that I love much more than I like talking about things that I hate. Like that's the only fringe benefit if I walk into a movie, like when I walked into the Firestarter remake. Had no faith that was going to be great. But I figured, okay, well, if anything else, maybe I can have an entertaining video where I talk about where everything went wrong. But I would much rather come to you and be like, did you see that new movie X? Nobody's talking about it, and it's amazing. The movie right here behind me. Have you heard of Rudderless? It's one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. Nobody's talking about it. Like, I value those conversations. When somebody comments back, which I know you've had a lot of people with Warrior. Mm-hmm. Hey, I heard you talk about this movie so many times. I finally watched it. It's one of my favorites now. I love it. Mm-hmm. That's the best interaction that I have on YouTube. And I'll take that
so much more satisfying than, oh, I loved your rant, or, oh, can you do another Freddy video? Or for me, can you do another MCU video? I'd much rather have somebody like, man, I'd never heard of Warrior and I loved it.
Yeah.
That's the cool part of this.
Yeah, that's where, even though I don't know this person, it could be somebody that's never commented on my channel. I feel like I've impacted them somehow, or they've impacted me, or vice versa. Or I've put some good out there. And that's just so much more valuable to me.
So I guess we got a little bit off track. So let's close this out with some inspirational words to someone that's starting out. Maybe they haven't started yet. They're about to start. Less than 6 months old channel. What's your words to them to inspire them that they can make this work?
Learn from your failures, but don't let your failures define you. And don't let your failures motivate you in a negative way. Like, always keep a hold of the fun side. Keep a hold of the reason why you started doing it. If you started YouTube because you're passionate about film, video games, cooking, whatever it is, just because you don't launch onto the YouTube homepage in the first 6 months, first 3 years, it doesn't mean that there's not value in what you're doing. I mean, you might impact somebody's life in a good way. You might, like I just said, give them a movie that they never would have seen before that now is something they're going to share with all their friends and family. Always keep track of why you started it, and don't let negatives or the lack of success or slow success take that away from you.
All righty. Thank you so much for sharing your tips. We're going to come back for part 4, where we're going to do rapid fire questions, talk about a bunch of different stuff. Thank you so much for your time, and come back and join us next time.